Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Today we got a special topic, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Today is for the people who basically sprouted up early, who had their gloriful moments very early, who are not trying to recreate those moments. A lot of people are stuck in what they've done in the past to the point they can't see they're not doing anything in their future. A lot of people are still in their glory days and not creating new days. A lot of people brag about the people they were intimate with when they were younger, and these people wouldn't even look at them now. A lot of people are bragging about what they used to do and not seeing what they're not doing today. A lot of people are fronting like what you were when you were younger, it plays relevance to who you are today. A lot of people think that if I was the man then, or I was the woman then I'm still that person. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're going to say this on record. Damn, you fell off. Damn, you fell off. There are a lot of people that have fallen off, and they're not equivalent to where they were back in the days. I go around some people, and they think that we're still in our younger days. I remember the song, Damn, Homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the hell happened to you? That saying was so prominent when I was younger that now that I'm the older guy, I look at some people, men and women, and I said, damn, brother, damn, sister. In high school, you was the sister. What the hell happened to you? There are a lot of people right now that aren't working on creating anything new to today opposed to what they've done in the past. You could have been a whole loser in high school, but today you could be that person. You could have been a whole cornball, quote unquote, right? But today you're that person. You could have been a whole bum, quote unquote, in high school, but today you're that person. But there are a lot of people who aren't that person today because they still living in their high school days. They still living in the past. People don't understand if you do not fix your past, you cannot, let me say that again. You cannot fix your past, but you can ever better so much fix your future. But some people are so prominently caught in their past, they don't see that they're affecting their future because they constantly doing the same thing as they used to, right? I look at life, someone said, who are you? I was always that guy. I'm going to be honest. And I'm not saying this to be arrogant. Some people are going to take it as arrogant. I was always popular. I was always captain of the football team. I was always somebody. But the one thing about it is, it was a wrong version of somebody that I was. I thought that being the most foolish person and doing foolish things made you popular where I'm from. The person that did the worst of the worst was always considered the best person. The person that had the most reserved mind and had the mature mind was considered corny when I grew up. Let me say it again. The person that did the worst of the worst was considerably the most popular people. But looking back, the person that was doing the dumb stuff ultimately was the cornball in a sense because they didn't have a free thinking. They couldn't think forward. They lived in a moment. So now you're looking at people who moments are catching up to them in a sense of they're not seeing that they haven't done anything in regards of moving forward. A lot of people are content and complacent in bad situations. An unhealthy mind will still eat unhealthy, ultimately creating an unhealthy mind. See, when your mind is unhealthy, your actions will become unhealthy, so therefore your results will also be unhealthy. There are a lot of people who are still stuck in the back in the day mentality. We say to them clearly like, damn, you fell off. You fell off. You haven't done anything prominently to move you forward. I don't want to argue with people who still haven't even matured to the point where they don't see that arguing is a waste of time. I don't want to go around people who still believe that if that person beat you up in middle school, they can still beat you up today. I don't want to go around those people. I remember growing up, I saw a lot of times We misbehave because of our insecurities, but to be an adult still misbehaving because of your insecurities is a sad situation. That is the mind that never grew up. The woman that everyone used to want, but now you realize that those days are over. No one wants you to the magnitude of what they did in high school. I don't care you was most popular. Most minds didn't see no further than a 5-block radius. So a lot of people were more prominent and more significant because people couldn't see past their 5-block radius. Wherever the environment you grew up in became every bit as so impactful to your thinking. A lot of minds are still captured in these spaces. The mind hasn't moved past where you come from. You get people that get hyped. I remember one time this guy said, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm like, yo, you've been living outside of Brooklyn for 22 years. But he's so Brooklyn because he feel like it gives him a sense of prominence, a sense of strength, a strength of toughness, a badge of honor. I'm from Brooklyn. And I laugh at that because at the end of the day, it's not where you from, but it's where you at. But a lot of people don't see them, they fell off because of the fact that they're not moving forward. What is the mind at today comparable to where it was back in the days? Where is your mind at today comparable to where it was back in the days? Your mind is every bit as still stuck in the same spaces that it was before. You still looking for acceptance from people who haven't accepted themselves. You're still looking for people to talk about the dumb stuff that you've done as if it's a badge of honor, it's something special. I say, damn. You still want people to look at you like, oh my God, remember when you fought in middle school? No one cares. No one cares. I'm telling you, I told this young kid the other day, comparable to most environments, he comes from a less prominent environment. I said to him, continue to be the cornball that people keep calling you, and you're going to be the man in your later days. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, people call you corny because you do right in school, which says the insecurity that these people that you're having a conversation with. I said, today, they're not going to see what you're building, right? Because before you can build anything, you have to create the blueprint. The blueprint ultimately allows you to create it. He's creating the blueprint in his mind, so therefore he will be successful. I said, just be mindful of those people who are laughing at you today. Because they say he who will laugh last will always laugh the best. I said, I told him, be mindful. He said, but Q, they always teasing me. I said, they teasing you because they inferior to who they know you are. It seems like an uneducated or unintelligent person is insecure to another person's intelligence. So sometimes you have to dim your light rather, because of the fact that people's insecurities start showing based on the conversations you have with them. When you start talking to certain people, they don't want to hear how intelligent you are. The other day I had a conversation with someone. They said to me, I said, I'm very intelligent. The person said, no, you're smart. I said, no, I'm very intelligent. They said, why do you feel like you're intelligent? I said, because by definition, I am intelligent. Smart meaning retaining or gaining, you can gain information. But intelligence, it takes you to apply the information to be intelligent. I said, smart people can gain and pick up information, but intelligence take you to apply the information. I said, I'm highly intelligent because I can apply information that I learned. So the person was thinking they were shooting me down by saying, no, you're smart, you're not intelligent. I'm like, no, you're not smart or intelligent because you don't even know what the definitions are. So therefore, you're only speaking on what you think. Therefore, again, I say this with conviction. I am very intelligent by definition. We got to stop trying to redefine things to accommodate our thoughts, to accommodate our beliefs, to accommodate our situations. There are people who look for things to complement their bad situation. How do we do that? Just because you drive a Benz and live in a basement don't mean you're still winning. Because that's the damn you fell off mentality. When that mind still hasn't gravitated towards growing. It's scary when I say you can remove yourself from people for years and go around them and they still sound the same. It is so scary to go around people who you've left, right, moved on from and come around. It's like nothing has changed. They are still in the club doing the same old two-step. Damn. You fell off. You might have fell off because of the fact that you're around people who don't want you to climb up. It is easier to fall off when you're around people who are pulling for your legs and you don't even see it from a physical standpoint. It's not about the physical pulling for your legs, it's the mental pulling for your legs. When they say things like, I don't think you can do it, that's pulling for your legs. When they say things that, oh, you think you're better than everybody, that's pulling for your legs. When people say you're not intelligent, that's pulling for your legs. Some people don't have to physically touch you, but yet and still pull you down. It's a mental thing. But again, when we say these statements, some people get offended. Because I said there's a person, when you say that term, crabs in a barrel, that is a mentality that can be possessed by any culture, black, white, blue, green, and anything else in between. So there are certain people who have a crab-like mentality. Their beliefs, meaning if I cannot surpass a certain level, nor can you. And if you try to surpass a certain level, I'm going to mentally try to obliviate you into believing that you cannot do it. So I'm going to force my beliefs, something called projecting. I'm going to project how I feel about myself onto you. I don't think you should do it. You're going to lose everything. I remember a person told me, do not buy stocks because of the fact that I'm going to lose my money. But yet and still the person that told me don't buy stocks have never bought stocks in their life. This is the culture today. We tend to believe that what I believe is the truth. Opinion and feelings have literally trumped anything else in between. You have all the experience, all the credentials, the receipts, everything, but people are so captivated by what they think, they will make their thoughts trump fact. It's crazy. It's a project mentality. The project mentality. Look at this 5-block radius, right? You'll be the guy or the woman who may have a little bit more than people. So therefore, you believe that you're a lot more successful because of the fact that you're around people who have a lot less than you. That is the mentality of the hood. The hood mentality is when you're in environments that only show you but so much, and you're doing better than people who are there, then you start believing that you're doing better than everyone because of the fact that you only comparing yourself to what you can see. The eyes can't believe what it can't see. The mind has to see it, right? Because once the eyes take a picture, it sends it to the mind. And once it sends it to the mind can believe something new because it's seen something new. The mind won't believe it if it hasn't seen anything new. So therefore, if you haven't been exposed, therefore the mind won't expand. And by not being exposed, most people's minds are very small. You have to be exposed. But the reason why most people fell off because of the fact that they're around people who haven't tried to push them up. They're around people who haven't poured into them. It's sad when you meet people who you can pour into all the time, but they never see the means of pouring back into you. They're always looking for what they can get from you, but not what you can get from them. Ain't a relationship a two-way street. I'm supposed to get, if I'm thirsty, I should be able to get something from your refrigerator the same way you should be able to get something from mine. Why is it a one-way street? Because you allowed yourself to stay around people who do not want to grow. They're comfortable in their situations. The worst thing to be is comfortable in a bad situation because the bad situation won't seem as bad as it is because of the fact that you get comfortable with it. There are people who would say that my neighborhood ain't bad. Your neighborhood is not bad because of the fact that you're grown. But when you realize that your children have to indulge in that community, then you'll see the mentality your children will be possessed with. There are a lot of people that say, oh, I can live anywhere. Yeah, you can live anywhere because of the fact that you are the grown-up now. So your mind is something called content. It's made its beliefs, its thoughts, everything. But now a mind that is impressionable going into a bad environment will be more so subject to the environment. But you cannot say that. You cannot say that. You cannot say that. When you look at most people, in their conversations, a lot of people are so ignorant. And I'm going to go on record and say this. They're ignorant. Ask me why they're ignorant because of the fact that they don't believe that anything other than what they think is the realities of life. No receipts, no checking up, no backgrounds, no research, nothing. There's a guy in here right now. We talked about a particular company. I'm not going to say it because I don't like giving financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. But I definitely do my research. I told him, let's buy this company. The company just popped the other day. Popped crazy. We talking about $100 and something profit per share. That is crazy in the market. Crazy. But again, When you tell people that you're an investor, they more so have something called a gambler's mentality. A gambler mentality and an investor mentality cannot intermingle. They can't cohabitate. A gambler is thinking for the short gains. An investor is thinking for the long game. And 99% of the time, the gambler loses comparable to the person that is ultimately the long-term investor. Investors always make money by thinking long-term. Look at the people in the real estate market today, right? Look at the people in the real estate market. Everyone that played the long game in real estate are successful as hell. There are people who had average jobs like teachers, nurses, regular Joes, and now these people are ever been millionaires. There's something called the baby boomers. For whoever know what the baby boomer generation is, these people that own houses, then they're millionaires. They're millionaires. Why are they millionaires? Because of the fact that they had something called a belief of understanding assets. They bought an asset. Most people don't understand. Renting a place is never going to build you wealth. Let me go on record and say that again. Renting a place will never build you wealth. Never. Every time you pay rent, all you're doing is making the landlord richer. He gets an income off of you. He gets growth as far as the asset appreciating. And he also pays into his equity, which only builds him wealth three ways. Or her, because you got both nowadays, right? Right? The generation right now, we're in the most microwave generation. I don't like to say as young people because I'm going to be honest with you. I talk to both generations and all generations, and you'll see a bunch of grown-ups who think the same. They don't save no money. They think they're more prominent than what they truly are. Because if something happens right now, which is a storm, they will see that they're the ones that's going to be washed away with the flood because they never had a foundation. We live in the most microwave generation I've ever seen in my life. With the social media thing, you see so many people who believe that there's an instant way to success. There's shortcuts. I can jump 4 gates and I'm at success while you got to go around blocks and blocks and blocks. That's a mentality. That's a mentality, right? They don't want to work hard. They want to skip steps. Someone said, what is your point? My point is you're probably the person I'm talking about. That's my point. You have no patience. When you come on a platform, you can't just expect to understand what the person is talking about when you come in mid-sentence. Patience. We're in a world right now where the most grown people who have no patience. They're impulsive as hell. Everything is microwave and I want it now. It's my money and I need it now. That's a mentality. That's a mentality. This is the generation we live in today. A bunch of people who are walking blindfolded because of the fact that they think that they're going to be able to see the world. You'll never be able to see anything with your eyes closed. As long as your eyes remain closed, so will your mind, because your mind has to process the information that the eyes have seen. And you can't process anything because your eyes haven't seen anything. If you haven't gone to certain leaps and boundaries or surpassed your mental levels, you won't go any further. But a lot of people are falling off. We're not talking about just physics. We talk about mentally. It's sad when adults won't even open a book to read, to learn more. You could literally pick up your phone and say, hey, Siri, and ask them the craziest questions, but people are still going for what they think. That is so sad. We're in a technology-driven world, AI, and people are still going off of their thoughts and their beliefs. Damn. Then you wonder why you fall off. You wonder why you fall off. Because you never sub yourself into the game of life. You're the coach of your whole team and you don't even want to put yourself in the game. You're the coach of the whole damn team and you don't even want to put yourself in the game. You don't want to try anything that's uncomfortable. Everything about your life is comfortable, but you believe that you're going to be comfortable one day. Good try. It's never going to happen. Most people comfort levels come at the aid and abetting of someone else. Most people comfort levels come at the aiding and abetting of someone else. A mommy, a daddy, an auntie, an uncle, welfare, social. Someone is making you comfortable. But when you lose that someone, you're going to realize that you could never swim. You were only in the ocean because of the fact that someone allowed you to be in the ocean because they were something called your life raft. And we fall off. We fall off. We don't make the right decisions. They say, yo, go down the road and make a left. You went down the road and made a right. And you wonder why you got the wrong directions. He gave me the wrong, no, you just can't hear. It is sad that you can tell someone what to do, but yet and still they can't hear you. Some people honestly hear what they want to hear. And you know how you can validate that? A fight can happen right now because two people fight, me and you seen two different fights because you saw what you wanted to see. My story might be every bit of right to matching the video that came out, but you added your pieces on. That's how stories get around. That's how information goes around. People always add on to things to make it sound like more than what it is. I wanted to sound more juicy. We falling off. The culture is falling off. Too many people aren't doing as much as they think they are. They think they have more than what they have. I saw a picture the other day that said the bags right now, the designer bags is $57 a bag, and they selling you these bags, $4,000 or $5,000 bags for $57 US. And you fall off because you fell into believing that that's the success. Look at the mind. You believe that clothes and shoes is successful. That makes you somebody. Because I was always taught it's not about what you're wearing, it's about how you wear it. It's who's wearing it. Because you can make something that's quote unquote not hot. I wore unbrand name stuff and people be like, yo, that's fire because of who's wearing it. When that's somebody. Remember, Cardi B, Fashion Nova wasn't that big until Cardi B literally stamped it. More people was willing to subscribe to it because of the fact that someone of influence subscribed to it. But I think that you should be your own influencer. How are you following influencers when you don't realize that you don't even influence yourself to do something great? It is sad the most influential people on earth are being followed by people that want to be influenced. You want to be influenced. How about you start influencing yourself? How about you become your own influencer mentally, controlling yourself to understand that you are the gateway to any levels of success? We're going to sit back and we're going to say, damn, you done fell off. You done fell off. Why is so many people falling off? Because there was no dog in you. There was no fight. There was no consistency. There was no, you know the worst thing in life is the people that want to be the most successful, they have no level of commitment. They have no level of discipline. They have no time management. They're inconsistent as hell. They always got an excuse. And you want to know the last part is there is no sense of urgency. The days you're waiting to be successful is the longer you're going to be unsuccessful. The days you dragging your feet to be successful is the longer you're going to be unsuccessful. The days you making excuses to be successful is the reason why you ain't. The days you keep wasting is the reason why you'll never be great. Because I'm going to tell you something, that spot that you say you want, somebody right now is getting up every day and producing while you're making excuses. Someone is every day working harder and harder while you're being lazier and lazier. Someone is not making any excuses. They're getting up off their behind. They literally say, I worked an 8-hour shift. Somebody just did a 16-hour shift. And then guess what? They go home to do a 4-hour nap to go back and do another 16-hour shift. What are you talking about? So again, you may think you be working hard because you're around people that ain't working that hard. You're around people who aren't consistent. You're around people who always make excuses. An excuse is an acceptance of failure. An excuse is an acceptance of failure. The more you give your mind an excuse, right? You say it verbally, your ears hear it, and your mind grabs it and holds it. If you can give yourself an excuse verbally, your ears will hear it and your mind will lock it in. So I just said, the reason why I'm failing because my dad wasn't there. My mouth said it, my ears heard it, my mind locked it in. So guess what? Now my mind believes that I'm not successful because my dad wasn't there. The mouth says it. The ears hear it. The mind believes it. And that's what we don't see. We got to learn how to recreate our mentalities. How do you break old ways? Old ways will never open up new doors. We falling off. We not trying to do anymore. I tell people all the time, my greatest experience in life is finding the darkest moments of my life has ultimately made me go to my greatest light. Because by not having any options, my options became my decisions I had to do was either sink, swim, live, or die. And I chose to swim and I chose to live. But a person that don't have your circumstance will never understand your mentality. I remember years ago, right, I was dating someone and they had their mother and father in the house. Their situation wasn't financially like mine. So anytime I would explain to her, like, yo, I go hard because I didn't have the comfort you have financially. My situation wasn't easy. My mother had to do it all by herself. And it was 6 of us, right? And my mom didn't have no crazy career or finances like that we had to figure it out. I say, you on the other hand, you've always had the help. So when I tell her this, she would get upset. And I'm like, you don't understand me because of the fact that you choose not to understand. In most cases, people listen to speak rather than listen to hear. They have selective hearing. They don't want to hear anything remotely explaining to why they behave the way they behave. She said, explain. I said, I'm going to tell you. You believe that you are more lit because of the fact that your parents have been holding on to you something as a belt. They've held your pants up your whole life. And you believe that you're holding yourself up. But you're not. Can you pay your own bills? Yes. But in reality, you've always had a handicapped situation. I've never had that level of comfort. My life was so hard. So therefore, to me, and the sad part is, me and her mentally, right? Mentally, in my mind, me killing myself to put us in a better position is success because of where I come from. In her mind, us having a little stable situation is success because that's how she feels comfortable. And I said, it's sad because I learned what you believe, but you don't want to learn what I believe because you don't want to understand my story. The chapter you have walked in on don't mean that's the whole entirety of the book. You walked in on a chapter. But you don't understand. You have to read the book in order to understand the whole book. No one can understand your autobiography if I read chapter 15 out of 30. I came in at the midpoint. But in order to understand why someone is the way they are, you have to go back to the beginning. So I'm bringing her back to my beginning, telling her this was my struggles. My mother and us, we had a room, not an apartment, a room. We struggled in a room, not an apartment. A room. When people tell me, oh, we had a 2-bedroom apartment, I had a bedroom, not an apartment. We shared an apartment with other people, and we had the room, all of our clothes in one space. So again, when you don't understand a person's story, you tend to believe that where they are today is where they come from. But I'm gonna tell you something, when God cleans something up, he will polish it to the point where it won't be recognizable. And today I may not be recognizable because of the fact that some people think I started at this moment. But in reality, I didn't. I come from nothing, less than nothing. And I never gave up. But the one thing I realized in life is when I fell off, it was to make me better because I wasn't willing to stay falling off. I said, I'm going to get up. So when I got punched by life, I said that punch was meant for me so I can see that life hits hard. So when life hit me hard, I hit back harder. I didn't make an excuse. I didn't accept my fate, right? I said, let me get back up. Let me try this again. What can I do different? I said, I got to read more. I don't like reading, but damn, I got to make myself read. I said, okay, I'm going to make myself read. I said, damn, I'm tired all the time, but I know I got to work hard to get the money, so guess what? I guess I'm going to just have to be tired. I said, damn. I don't know how to invest money. I don't know what to do with money. So damn, I got to learn some financial literacy. I got to learn literacy. Okay, I'm going to start reading on how to learn literacy. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, The Millionaire Next Door, The Richest Man in Babylon, also The Art of Reprogramming the Mindset by yours truly, Q the Boss. I said, I'm going to do anything that it takes to make myself better. I'm not going to give myself an accommodation to my poor behaviors or compliment my poor behaviors with more poor behaviors. I'm not going to give myself an excuse to failing based on the fact that I'm worried about what others think but not seeing what I think. See, some people may think you're successful, but in reality, you have to know your truth because the greatest mind can be fooled. You can have people believing that anything you want by your behaviors and the way you show. Anyone could believe something that's not true. Because a magician is not doing magic. They're doing something called an illusion. And a person can learn how to do an illusion with themselves by making you believe that they're doing a lot better than they truly are. But this is the reason for the greatest fall off. Where there's no foundation, where there's no structure, it will ultimately be failure. Look at the narrative. No one starts building a house from the second floor. It starts from the foundation. But if you don't recreate the new foundation on your mindset, you're going to ultimately see that nothing is going to change. Nothing changes by chance. Everything changes by actions. Nothing changes by chance. Everything changes by your decisions. Nothing changes by chance. Everything changes by your beliefs, your thoughts, because your thoughts and your beliefs will lead to your results. When a person is failing, it's because they believe that they should be failing. When a person is not doing well, it's because they believe they shouldn't be doing well. There are a lot of people who they undervalue themselves. It's crazy. You listed yourself, put a price tag on it, and you reduce the price every time because you couldn't wait for people to pay the price. In life, I would rather a person pay the price I'm asking and wait for that price to come rather than lowering my price. I'm not going on sale for me, for nobody. I'm not putting myself on sale for nobody. Either you're going to pay the full asking price or you're not going to be able to afford me. It is what it is. But a person has this beliefs. You know what happens? Now they say you arrogant, you cocky, you think you all of that. I do think I'm all that. Damn. Why shouldn't I? Because you want me to believe what you want me to believe about me? Damn. And then you wonder why the greatest fall-offs. Because you've allowed yourself to allow people to make you believe what they want you to believe. You've allowed people to make you believe what they want you to believe about yourself. Because in order to be great, you have to believe you're great before you're great. If you don't believe you're great before you're great, you'll never be great. How are you going to be great when someone told you that you're not great, so therefore you don't believe you're great because someone told you that you're not great? If nothing changes, nothing changes. But if something changes, something changes. And that's how life goes. But we have been indoctrinated into believing a false reality. Look, it's like reading a book that is nonfiction, but believing that it's every bit of truth. We're creating nonfiction. The word non creates it, the narrative to what it is. But again, we don't like to hear anything remotely that makes us uncomfortable. Someone call in right now. We're going to talk about this. 516-253-1150. Someone call in right now. Let's talk about it, right? Call me right now, Dawson. 516-253-1150. I love talking to my people. Someone call in right now. Let's talk about this. How do people fall off, and how can we prevent ourselves from falling off? How? How can we present ourselves from falling off? Because I'm going to tell you something. The hardest part is not about getting on. The hardest part is staying on. That is the hardest part. Maintaining success. Imagine if every week you have to do 100 hours a week to keep your situation afloat. That means your health and everything has to be intact for you to keep that afloat by staying focused. I love that, Dawson. But it is hard to stay focused in a room full of noise. It is hard to stay focused around people who don't want anything. Because I'm going to tell you something. I always use the Honda theory, right? What year we in? We're in 2024. Let's say I got a 2010 Honda. My boy got a 2011. And my other boy got a 2013. The person with the 13 feel like their car is more superior than my car because my car is 2 years older. But the next person feel like his car is more superior because his car is a year newer. But in reality, we all technically have hoopties. But the mind is competing with who it's around, so therefore it believes that it's a lot more better than anything else. But the moment you take that person with the 2013, 2014 Honda, you take them to a guy with a 2024 Honda, the person will feel less superior. But the person with the older car won't go around the newer car because the newer car is going to make them very uncomfortable, showing them that they have a lot more work to do to get to the 2024. That's how the human mind operates. That's how the human mind operates, right? And that's what people don't understand. It's not the car year. I'm just using it as an example. But I'm trying to say that's how the human mind operates. If I have $10,000, my boy got $20,000, and my other boy got $40,000, the person with the $40,000 think he's rich because he's comparing himself to me and the guy that has less money. That's how the human mind operates. That's how a lot of people fall off, because they don't remove themselves from spaces that should show them that they need to do more. It's hard to tell someone that think they've done a lot that you've done a little. It is hard to tell someone that you're not as ill as you think you are when they believe that they are every bit of everything. It's hard because they believe that a lot of us overvalue ourselves when it comes to life. And not saying that you should undervalue yourself, but you have to also not create delusion, because you can make yourself very delusional in your own beliefs of nonsense. A lot of us believe our own madness. Own madness, right? Some lame excuses. If I had better habits, that's one excuse that people use, right? If only I was smart enough, that's another poor excuse. You're not smart because you ain't reading. You're not smart because you're not learning, right? If I only didn't have a wife, if only I didn't have a wife and a family, meaning I can't take risks because I have a wife and a family. But your wife and your family should be working with you, not against you, right? If only I had enough influence. Oh, you only won because of the fact that you had influence. I'm going to tell you something. I've realized this. Some of the greatest families have the most rebellious kids ever. They come from good structures, but yet still rebel against what they were taught. So that's an excuse also. That's an excuse. Your starting point don't have to project your ending point. Some people have the worst starts, and some people have the greatest starts and still fail. If only I had enough money. You don't have enough money because you always wasted money, so therefore you're never going to have money. Let's just call it what it is. Some of the brokest people always find ways to spend money, and the most wealthiest people always find ways to invest money. Most broke people will find money to waste. Oh my God, that's Louis Vuitton. So what? So what? I got a question for you, and I'm going on record, and I don't want to make this a culture thing, but I'm going to be honest. How many times in your life have you heard that Jewish people are cheap? How many times you heard that? A lot, right? We've all heard this a lot. I'm not saying anything pertaining to the Jewish culture. Let me go on record and say that. I'm just going off of what I've heard a zillion times. That Jewish people are very cheap. But yet and still, I watch the culture that I'm attached to say this all the time, but yet and still waste so much money. So I ask this question. If Jewish people have money because they're cheap, if we keep wasting money and we're not cheap, how the hell are we going to have money? How? Let me ask this one more time. Someone didn't hear me. If Jewish people are considerably cheap and they have money, if we keep wasting money and we don't have money, how the hell are we going to have money? How? I'm just curious to how. How? Right? Some people always use this statement, if I was luckier. What is luck? Let's get into the definition of luck. You know what luck is? Preparation meeting opportunity creates luck. Preparation meeting opportunity creates luck. For instance, if I've been working on my basketball game every day and a coach walks into a park and see me practicing, therefore the preparation meaning the opportunity creates luck. Preparation meaning opportunity creates luck. Some people believe genuinely that there's a such thing as luck. Listen, there's no luck. You got to create your luck by doing what you have to do. Let's get into this. 38.5% of U.S. adults set New Year's resolutions every year. Right? Back up. 38.5% of U.S. adults set New Year's resolutions every single year. Let's acknowledge that, right? 59% of young adults, 18 to 34, have New Year's resolutions, which makes it the largest demographic that sets their goals. 18 to 34, that's your window, where that's the most, 59%. 48% want to exercise more, making it the most popular New Year's resolution. Most people say they want to work out more, get my body back in shape. That's why if you go to the gym right after New Year's, it's packed. Right? 23% quit in the first week. 23% quit in the first week, and only 36% make it past the first month, right? 9% successfully keep their resolutions. 9%. So that means 92% of people who set their own goals fail because they're not disciplined to complete their own goals. Damn. But I didn't create the narrative, I just understand it. I didn't create the narrative. But when you have these conversations, in order to hear truth, one must make themselves uncomfortable with the lies. The lies gotta make you feel funny. If you don't feel funny with a lie, that means you're gonna accept the lie. Your mind gotta wanna hear the truth. I gotta wanna know the truth. Therefore, I can go towards the direction of the truth. Most people fall off because of the fact that they've never set the foundation in order to stay up. They're inconsistent. They lie to themselves. They don't want more than what they believe they can have. Listen to what I just said to you. Most people don't want more than they believe they can have. Y'all don't hear me. You don't hear me. You don't hear me. But again, the mentality of the broken mentality, right? See, when we use the term broke is a mentality. Let's just get on record and say that. Broken is a mentality, right? Right? It's a mentality. A lot of people are broken. Ask me, how are they broken? When you come from a certain situation or a certain belief, you'll believe what you believe. No one, as a child, for the most part, right, rarely come out their mother's womb with no ambition. Something along their journey derailed them. And as it derailed them, they literally never got back on track. But today I'm asking someone to get back on track because you've been derailed by something called falsified situations. Your situation may have been toxic. You may have decided that you can't do no more. It happens, right? It happens. But without being derailed, you'll never see how good it is to be on track. When things are in unison with your life, right, and they're falling into line, sometimes you feel like things fell out of place, but they don't realize that you were falling off for a reason. When you were falling off, it was to show you that you're making poor decisions, but you kept doing it and ultimately fell down. But sometimes things don't fall apart, things fall into place. But a lot of people don't want to allow their life to fall into place. Because when things are not going the way they want, they just want to rebel and fight it. But it's time you stop fighting yourself and start accepting yourself. If you know you want to go back to school, today's the time you make that choice. That BA, that associate's, that master's degree is waiting for you. Some people want to get something called a doctorate. It's waiting for you. Wouldn't it sound nice to have doctor your last name? That's what you want. And there's nothing wrong with going after what you want. Settling is the worst thing a human can do. And I said again, settling is the worst thing a human can do. Because it is a spit in the face of your God, because he's given you the ability to be great and you've chosen not to. Because one thing he gives us is something called free will. Everything is free will by choice. No one can tell me that someone made them do it. That sounds crazy as hell. That sounds like a child. We have grown-ups talking about, they made me do it. It has to come a time in your life where you have to make a choice. Today, I'm making a choice right now that I'm not making no excuses. Today, I'm making a choice that I'm walking towards my greatest self. And if no one is willing to grab my hand and walk with me, I'm willing to walk alone. But the problem is most people aren't willing to walk alone because we are something called pack animals. We believe in the pack. I need a multitude of people with me to make me feel like I'm doing something significant. But you're never going to do something significant because the people that's walking on your journey are not trying to add value. They're leeching off of you. One thing about life, you cannot carry dead weight. And the sad part, those who try to carry dead weight will ultimately see that they were held back by dead weight. And this is the truth. You have adult privilege. You're an adult. You can do what you want by making the choices to do what you want. Some would say that my life is, I'm getting older. You're getting older because you already made yourself believe that you're old. Old is not a number. It is actually when you're dead. That's when you're old. Because as long as you're alive, there's still an ability. I watched a woman the other day, 60 years old, went back and got her master's degree. 60 years old. She said this is the most she's ever been focused in school since she was born. She decided to go back. And all her degrees came after 45. All of her degrees came after 45 years old. Finishing at 60 with her master's, right? But a person will say, well, she's the exception to the rule because you made her special. I don't make anyone special. I think life is about choices, decisions, locking down and doing what the hell you got to do and sacrificing. Because she sacrificed, because you got to understand, it is easier to retain information than it is when you get older. She decided to go back and retain this information by challenging herself. One could never become great if they don't challenge themselves. We're watching the greatest fall off in the history of the U.S. by people who has the most potential but never getting anywhere in life. Because potential is a word if the action is not backing the potential. One's potential will never flourish if a person don't go towards it. You could believe that you can do, but you don't do anything, so therefore nothing happens. It's insanity. Doing the same thing every day but expecting different results. Someone needs to diagnose himself today with insanity, right? They're insane. Why are they insane? Because they believe that I can do the bare minimum, but I'm gonna have the most. I can cheat life by figuring out how to cheat life. And the sad part about the people that always want to cheat life, they waste the most time trying to figure out how to cheat life. Damn. Let me say that one more time. There are people who believe that they can cheat life. And the sad part about the people who are trying to cheat life, they waste the most time trying to figure out how to cheat life. But there is no cheat codes. There is no skipping steps. There is no, there's obstacles along our journey that you can't avoid. And by going over the obstacles, you learn how to sustain. I think the hardest part about being successful is sustaining it. As I said before, in order to be successful, one has to make themselves uncomfortable. One of us have to look in the mirror today and say to ourselves today, I'm not lying to myself no more, right? I'm not making no more excuses anymore. I'm not going to tell myself what I want to hear so I can believe what I want to hear. You can falsify your mind into believing whatever you want. And I've witnessed people literally tell themselves things that gave them excuses, ultimately not being great. You know, the scariest thing is when you talk to a teacher or a professional, they will see the most potential students who don't believe they have potential. Because it's one thing to see something in you that you can't even see in yourself. When you see a star that shines bright, but yet and still you can't see how bright you are because you keep going around people that are dark clouds. They keep dimming your light. A star can't shine where there's a dark cloud. When a star is covered by a dark cloud, it can't shine. And you may be that star that's getting covered by dark clouds. There are people around you that are blocking out your shine, your ability to shine because they're inferior. Some of us are inferior to greatness. Some of us are inferior to our own success. Some of us are self-sabotaging our own life by making self-sabotaging decisions. I know people who do the same thing every day to themselves, but believe that something is magically going to happen for them. They still chasing rainbows. They still believe that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's crazy. Where I'm at, there is 15 hours of daylight today. What are you doing with your time? Ask yourself that logical question. Simply saying something as logical as that. What am I doing with my time? Am I being honest? Am I lying? Am I doing more? Am I inconsistent? Am I the reasoning for my failure? Am I the logic that don't make logically sense? My logic don't even make sense. There are people that will literally find people that are identical to them, stay around people that are identical to them, and don't realize that that's the problem. There's a guy I talked to today, right? Younger man, very entitled, but don't come from privilege. His friends come from privilege. His girl comes from privilege. So now that he's around these people because he's a follower, he believes that he comes from privilege. But yet and still seeing his mother and father work hard to get him to these levels, he believes that he is privileged. I said, that's how crazy the mind is. You can come from dirt, nothing, get around people that come from a lot, and believe that you've always had a lot. Damn, you fell off. And that's how you fall off. Because throughout the process of learning how to sustain success, one must learn how to sustain success. Let me say that one more time. Throughout the process of becoming successful, one must learn how to sustain success. Because what gets you there is what keeps you there. And what makes you go further than where you are is by doing more when you get there. I'll say that one more time. They don't hear me, Chris. What keeps a person successful, when a person becomes successful, is what they've done to become successful. And if they want to sustain success, they have to continue to do what got them to success. And if they don't do what got them to success, they're going to fall off. And if they don't fall off and they want to go higher, they have to do more than what got them to success. Y'all don't hear me? You got to do more than what got you to success. You can't be content. Complacency breeds content, right? A lot of people are complacent. They don't see that it's their mind that's holding them back from the greatest things that they can see. When you sit down at night and you dream about the greatest things that you can have, it's because your mind believes that it's sustainable and it's obtainable. But in order to obtain anything in life of value, one must sacrifice in order to obtain it. There is nothing that's going to be given to anyone of value. You have to earn it. And sometimes in life, you have to take it. I don't mean steal. I mean work hard for it. So again, when you look back at life, someone said manifestation. I agree. But I'm going to use that term manifestation. I want to talk about that term. A lot of people believe that the faith, by working hard, by believing that I can manifestate something with my mouth, that's not what God meant when he said manifestation. Because what contradicts words is when he says faith without work is dead. So therefore, it's the work that he's saying by manifestating. The manifestating is in your beliefs. You have to believe that you are worthy. And what makes you say that you believe is your actions. A person that knows they're going to be successful are always doing things that's going to make them successful because they believe that they're going to be successful. But a person that's not successful, they always do things that keep them from being successful, but yet and still believe that they're going to be successful. It is humanly impossible to become great around people who don't want to allow you or challenge you to become great. It is so much harder when you realize that you're working against yourself. When you look at how hard it is to become successful around people who don't want to see you successful, it's like going to the gym every day, then come home and eat bad. Notice that you never see results. Damn. Watch that statement. Becoming successful is so hard when you're around people who don't want to challenge you or push you to be great. It's equivalent to going to the gym, working out, and then wondering why you don't see results because you eat bad every day when you go home. That's why it's so hard, because it's more of the discipline that will make the body look well. When you see a person look good from the gym, it's because of their eating habits. It is 80% eating, 20% gym. Your body reflects how you treat it and what you do to it. In most cases, when a person looks good, it's because they eat better outside of genetics. Some people's genetics are just immaculate. But in most cases, when a person looks good, it's because they eat well. So when you sit down and have these conversations, one must understand, like, look, I want more, so I'm going to do more. I'm tired of being the guy or the woman that fall off. I fell off. But it's not abnormal to fall off. But what's abnormal is when you stay down. Because the best fighters is not the ones that have never been knocked up. The best fighters is the ones that got up from being knocked out. If every time I fought someone and I knocked the person out, no one would think that other people could fight. They would think that I just can fight too well. But if I fought great fighters, they beat me up and I got up and fought back, they're going to see like that person has heart. One can't measure one's heart. How bad you want it. How much you're willing to sacrifice for it. How comfortable you aren't with your current situation. You can't make reservations at bad restaurants and expect to have great food. Let me say that again. You can't make reservations at bad restaurants and expect to have great food. You looked at all the reviews of your life and said, if I continue to do this, look at, imagine going on Yelp of your life, right? Or Google of your life, and you see reviews. It says, if Q keeps doing bad, Q's gonna have this. And all of these reviews of my life telling me if I continue to do this. But guess what? I got a 1 star on my reviews on my grades, on my report card, but I continue to still do the same thing, thinking I'm gonna have better results. That is insanity. We're insane. We gotta stop allowing ourselves to fall off. In order to win, you have to get in the game. You got to challenge yourself to hear things you don't want to hear. You got to challenge yourself to be less complacent with nonsense. A lot of us are complacent with nonsense. The uncomfortableness is what makes you great. It is not the comfortness that make you great, because what's uncomfortable will make you comfortable if you continue to do what's uncomfortable. But if you continue to do what's comfortable, you don't know what the uncomfort could bring you. The fear of the unknown is what most people don't see. You fear what you don't know. So we go around what we're content and complacent with. We allow ourselves to stay around people that distract us from our greatest version of ourselves. I still hear people that be like, my friends don't want to do nothing, so I ask them, why are they your friends? I hate going around people that say, my girl don't want to do more. Well, then why is she your girl? I hear women say, my man is lazy. Then why is he your man? I hear people say, oh, my mom and it. That's their problem. You go after what you want. But I get tired of hearing these conversations over and over and over when you realize that at the end of the day, you are the driving force to what you want. You cannot want someone or make someone want to eat better when they're used to eating bad. You cannot make someone want to do more when they're comfortable doing exactly what they're comfortable doing. Let me say this before we get out of here today. Who you practice on becoming is who you will be. Let me say that again. Allen Iverson said, we're talking about practice. Who you practice on becoming every day is who you will be. If you're not practicing every day to audition for the part in life you want, you will never get the role. In order to get the role, one must practice and audition to get the role that they want. That successful role that you have to have a successful mentality. One cannot be something they're not practicing on becoming. One don't just wake up and have it. They've been practicing on getting there. So again, before you realize that you will never get there until you realize that you are the driving force to where you want to get. You've allowed people to stay in your way for too long. You allow people to talk you out of being the best version of yourself. You allow people to tell you that you can't too many times, to the point where you believe that you can't. Well, today I say this with conviction, you can. As long as you believe you can, you will. And there's nothing that's in my way, because the Bible says no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I say this with conviction. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Because anything that is not for me is against me. Anything that doesn't help me is not with me. I do not allow myself to go around anybody that doesn't help me get to where I want to get to, because I'm going to help them get to where they want to get to. If you keep going around these people who aren't adding value to your life, you're going to realize that your life has no value. And I'm going to say this one more time. If you keep going around people who don't add value to your life, you're going to keep realizing that your life has no value. Damn. But your life will never have value until you add value to it. Because life will give you exactly what you're willing to accept. And when you stop accepting what's not for you, you'll start getting what's for you. So I say this with conviction. I'm going after the best version of myself. I'm not going to be the greatest fall off. My trials and tribulations were to make me and allow me to become the best version of myself. When you look back at the way your parents was, that's their problem. That ain't me. I'm not them. And I accept it. Because a lady said to me the other day, she said, my family don't help me. I laughed. And she said, what's so damn funny? I said, you got to learn the definition of family. Blood makes you related. That don't make you family. You can create family. By definition, the term family means loyalty, honor, integrity. When the people you name that are family aren't your family, those are people you're related to. So learn the difference between family, and people you're related to. You could be related to people that you don't have to give access to you. Because the people you give access to you will ultimately drive your mind to the exact destination that you want to be. When you're around people who are on the wrong direction, you're more likely to fall in line going the wrong direction because you're getting directions from someone who don't have the right direction. You got to apply what you learn from others, right? Be around people who are pushing you to do more. So sometimes you got to get out your feelings and hear things that you don't want to hear so you can start hearing what you need to hear. Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.